Well, good Saturday morning. How you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Mother's Day weekend. Beautiful, beautiful day in the neighborhood. That neighborhood being East Nashville. 101 with Greg Pogue, presented by Freeman Webb here at Roy's Meat Service, the iconic Roy's Meat Service, and our guest, Jason Matthews, former Titans, Colts, Texas A&M, Brentwood Academy Athletics Director, the pride of Bridge City, Texas. And I got to wait a second because he's got his head stuck in the meat case right now. Jason, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here. This is a great place.
Yeah, isn't it cool?
It is really cool. Like, there's so many things I want to buy in here.
And it's got a bodega in the big city feel, or a country store. And we were talking before we went on this we talk about this. This is where the old East Nashville and the new East Nashville, they gather here and get along, quite frankly.
You're exactly right. I mean, this is nostalgic, but it also is. I mean, I was staring at the steak sitting over there thinking about Mother's Day tomorrow and thinking what we could do with that. So
there you go.
It meets together.
Well, and you see a guy on a bicycle with two kids come in, two toddlers and everything. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. This is the end of the school year, so it's I feel like we're running on fumes from a school perspective, but the weather's beautiful. Everybody's healthy. It's really good.
Well, and I want to let's start today and work our way back.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Brentwood Academy,
Yep.
the athletics director. You were the admissions director and
Yep.
dean of community engagement, and all of a sudden now you're the AD. Congratulations! But I mean, Brentwood Academy's got a there's some expectations
There is, and it is almost it almost is a really big job that I was not aware of when I first took it. But it is you realize how important athletics are to our community, and it's a big job. It's taken me a couple years to kind of get my hands around it, but I'm feeling like I'm starting to understand the importance of this. It's not a getting the team ready. It's who are we going to hire? Who are the assistant coaches? Who are the athletes that need to be filling in of the athletes that are graduating? And I tell everybody all the time, it's really Division II private schools. It's like a small college. It really is. You don't have the staff of a small college, but the expectations are that you win. And if you're not winning, we fix it quickly and win the next year.
Right. So. And you've got a good one in Paul Wade. I bet Paul's we were talking also before the show, football guy. I mean, bleeds it, is it. That's a football guy. But I met him when he was working with Ricky Bowers at Innsworth, had the great run at DCA. You hire him, and what a good hire.
Well, I wish it was that simple with me and Paul Wade. Like we have such a great story before that, because he whooped us when we had some of our best Jalen Ramsey teams at Brentwood Academy.
Yeah.
We walked away 0-4, and Innsworth ended up winning 4 state championships in a row. And Paul Wade is over there in his iconic khaki shorts and black socks. And I thought, who is this guy that keeps whooping us? I used to blame it on Corn Elder, which is obviously a big part of that. But Paul Wade was no doubt a part of their run. He will tell you very quickly if he was here that we chose not to hire him. That wasn't quite the way I remember it, but we did not get him the first time. So right now we were thrilled to get him 2 years ago, and what a turnaround! We went from a 2-10 program to a 10-2 program in 2 years, and we were on the steps of beating Chattanooga Baylor in the state championship. And you cannot underestimate what he's done for our school, for our community, and especially for our football team. Well,
and we're going to get to a lot of different things. Jason Matthews is our guest, drafted by the Colts, most notably here with the Titans, 11 years in the NFL, third-round draft pick of the Colts back in '94. The landscape of high school athletics in the past 5 years, just like on the collegiate level, the transfer portal, the NIL is now on the high school level.
Yep.
TSSAA, quite frankly, just threw up the hands. We're not going to beat it in court, so let's do it the right way.
Yep.
And even within Division II, in my mind, there seems to be a separation of 3 levels. One, there's the ones that are not necessarily in the NIL world, okay? Mm-hmm. Then there, in my mind, the Brentwood Academies, that's where you are. That's the cards you're dealt. Then you have the Baylors of the world that are boarding schools.
Yep.
And that's another animal, and that you're all thrown in there together. I know a lot of people in the public world is not going to feel too sorry for you.
No.
But it's a different animal right now.
Well, first of all, I'm a public school guy.
Yeah.
Born and bred in Texas, and I'm a public school believer, and I know the importance and the great coaches and great teachers they have in the public schools, and what great football we have here in Tennessee. However, I am in the private school now, and I will tell you, it is you hit the nail on the head. There are different levels of what's happening in the private school. I think the TSSAA saw what was going on in Chattanooga. And again, it's not feel sorry for Brentwood Academy. We've had a rich tradition, which I'm sure we'll get into, but Chattanooga has changed the rules, has changed the game. And I think it's 8 or 9 years since a non-Chattanooga team has won the football state championship. So they've got a method of what they're doing. I think the TSSAA says, you're exactly right, this is coming. We're going to try to attack it real. And since I've been athletic director, they've passed the NIL rule, which we're still trying to get our hands around it, talking about all the athletic directors in public and private.
Because the NIL is just not private.
That's right. It's everything.
Certainly not.
Yeah.
A lot of people say the NIL's been there forever, but that's a different animal.
Sure.
Yeah.
But now it's legal.
Yeah.
You can as long as the school doesn't have anything to do with it, who knows what's going on out there? And that's kind of what my frustration is with it. Number 2, they passed a residency rule in year 2 of my athletic director tenure. So now you can live wherever you want to and play. And then number 3, as we know this year, they just passed a one-time free transfer. So it is becoming a college world, and my 2 words are relationships and development. It makes it really, really tough to develop a freshman running back when you say you've got to sit for 2 years behind this junior and senior running back, and no, we're going to go transfer because we can start now. That's what, in my opinion, has hurt college football, and I think that's what's going to hurt Tennessee football because of all this. Because my roots are in Texas. They have not passed this NIL yet. They are trying to stay away from it as far as you can. We may be on the precipice of something great, but we may be on the precipice of something bad.
Yeah, it's and there's no way you're going to beat it in court.
That's
I mean,
right.
Texas, that's a whole. They've got their own. They got their own court system that's going to take care of them, right? And so Jason Matthews is our guest, former Titans tackle. We got to get a lot of from the Titans days and everything. Brentwood Academy Athletics director as well, and you can't say Brentwood Academy without saying Carlton Flat. I got to know Carlton really well, luckily enough. I was the prep writer, but the banner before I went and did all this other stuff, including the NFL. But I was there covering the ground zero of Brentwood Academy versus the TSSAA, and that went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. First off, Carlton Flat there needs to be statues for him. He is the coach's coach, and the thing that always got me, I'd go talk to him. He said, well, I can talk to you right after class. Well, it wasn't PE class.
That's right.
It wasn't.
Teacher,
He was a math teacher.
Yep.
Carlton Flat, we lost an amazing man and one hell of a coach.
Well, there's no doubt, and I am happy to talk about his coaching experience. Yeah. But if you were at that celebration of life with Coach Flat, the coaching piece was certainly a part of that. But I don't think the number of wins, which was 360-something, 66 maybe, wins. Nothing was said about that. It was about the father, the grandfather, the husband, the mentor. People were coming back talking to him about he would run out of his way to go get them to pick them up to bring them to school because they needed to be here. Talking about literally saving kids' lives, just being a mentor to so many people in our community. So there's no doubt we're proud of who he was as a football coach and as an athletic director, but he was so much more. And I'll take this opportunity to say I think it's an absolute shame. This is not me frustrated or bashing the TSSAA, but the fact that he is not in the TSSAA Hall of Fame, it's a travesty. The man is, at one point, was the winningest coach in Tennessee high school football, and there's just a whole bunch of grudges there between public and private with Carlton Flat. The man passed away last month, and he should be honored, and he should be in the Tennessee TSSAA Hall of Fame, and I'm going to do everything I can to hopefully get him in there sooner than later because his stats are undeniable.
Yeah, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
Yes.
But not
that's right.
The Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
That's right.
But not
in the
TSSAA.
Hall of Fame.
Don't Don't get me. We could start the parade right now if I'm ready for
Amen.
it. And the thing is, and I know the leadership there well. Time has passed.
Yep.
Those even Ronnie Carter.
Ronnie Carter wrote a letter of recommendation for him.
Yeah, and and that was it was Ronnie and TSSAA and Carlton and Brentwood Academy in that lawsuit.
Yep.
And Ronnie, we had Ronnie sitting here a couple months ago. He would tell you the same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We had to get letters to support that, and Ronnie Carter was gracious enough to write us a letter. And I think you said it right. There was some conflict there. I think time has passed. Right is right. He's one of the best, if not the best, coach in the state of Tennessee history. He needs to be honored. At the end, I kept telling him, he got in the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame, and he was like, "That's the one I want." And I said, "But there's something about being in that TSSAA Hall of Fame." And he goes, if they don't want me, I don't want. That's just who he was. Yeah. But I want it for him. I want it for his family, and he deserves to be in there.
And there are a lot of great coaching staffs that the best coaching staff ever. The people that he had on that staff stayed.
It's a who's who of coaches.
Right. Yeah.
Who's who of coaches. We've got them up in our athletic facility now. We've got pictures of them up, and coaches from college come in and recruit our players, and they start pointing out people from other schools that are coaching at different places right now.
Yeah.
Just an unbelievable coaching tree.
The shadow, though, is in a positive way long.
Yeah.
Because the expectations, Brentwood Academy is measured by state championships.
No doubt. And that's part of the burden of this job that I am. It's part of the burden of Paul Wade, who had an unbelievable season. But it's a state runner-up, and there's at least a percentage of people that are going, we didn't win that. So, it's some crazy stat. Like we've had 29. I mean, we're 54, 55 years old. We've had 29 either state championships or state runner-ups in football. So you just take 15 runner-ups and 14 winners. It's pretty amazing the history of winning at that school. And, of course, Cody White had 4 of his, but the rest of those are all Coach Flatt, and obviously one of the state runner-ups is Coach Wade. So yeah,
it's just the run that he had. Jason Matthews is our guest. Brentwood Academy as a whole, because you moved into the AD job, but you had been there quite a while as the admissions director and the dean of community engagement. Yep. That seems like two full-time jobs to themselves.
Yeah, when I retired from the years of Titans, my mom was a teacher, my brother's a teacher, my sister's a teacher, and I had an economics degree, and I thought, what am I going to do with this? You retire from the NFL, and I'm sure you've had plenty of people on this show to say, that it's a change. What do you do with your life? You go from going to Ruth Chris downtown to people buying you dinner to just going into obscurity. I did not ever want that NFL life. I wanted to be Jason Matthews, the community, somebody that's part of the community. So when I went to Brentwood Academy, I found that community, and it is a Christ-centered community where we can have high academics, but we're not scared from the athletics. So I just fell in love with the place. Both of my kids went through there. And throughout that time, I went from elevating from being a economics teacher, which is what I was hired for, to being an admission director, which at the very first day, I will tell you, I had no business being the admission director. But I grew into it. It is a science. I learned the craft. 9 years later, they asked me to be the athletic director, and I'm slowly growing into that. But Carlton Flatt was not the admission director before I was, so that was a lot less intimidating than being the athletic director behind Carlton Flatt. So,
yeah. Jason Matthews is our guest, one-on-one with Greg Pogue. He's rocking the Donut Den T-shirt, the Buc-ee's cap. We got to get you either a Jackson Boone Racing. By the way, let me say this right now: Jackson Boone Racing, just an up and rising star. Last Saturday night won the late model race, and he's in the points lead at the fairgrounds. And, of course, you want to know he was the youngest driver ever to win the points championship there at 19 years old. You look at the names who've won point championships there, Darrell Waltrip, Bobby Hamilton, on and on and on. And he won last Saturday night, the race at the fairgrounds, and on the very tail end, Nashville Cats.
There you go.
Nashville Cats.
Roy's Meat Market.
We sponsor Jackson Boone. We got another announcement coming out. Anyway, let me promote that right now. Yep. This afternoon, it's got plenty of time to get over there. This afternoon at 4 o'clock, F&M Bank Arena, Clarksville. the Nashville Cats hosting the Oregon Lightning. As a matter of fact, the owner of the Oregon Lightning came in here last night and bought food for his coaches and took it back to their meeting. So the word's spreading, right?
That's great.
So you got to get up there. Our Cats captain is going to be Dave Luce, the Austin Peay legendary coach, athletic director, and Jeff Fisher will be the game ball presenter. A week from today, 4 o'clock, we play the Minnesota Monsters. The general manager's Meadowlark Lemon's son, Meadow Lemon, and our captains will be, you may have heard of them, Derek Mason and Kevin Dyson.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep. Two of the greats.
You blocked enough for Steve to get that ball out to
Great
them.
guys.
Yeah,
Great guys.
Jason Matthews is our guest. One-on-one with Greg Pogue, presented by Freeman Webb. We're at Roy's Meat Service. All this on 94.9 The Fan. It's Greg Pogue, one-on-one with, presented by Freeman Webb. We are Roy's Meat Service in East Nashville, producing back at the 94.9 The Fan Studios. Jake Steigelfest, Jason Matthews, our guest, athletic director, Brentwood Academy, 11 years in the NFL, third-round draft pick in 94 of the Colts, spent 4 years there, then from 94 to 97 with the Titans. I got some numbers on you here, by the way. We're going to start with this, but when you think back, I've got some names I'm going to do, but just overall, your takeaway from your 11-year NFL career, but certainly the run with the Titans.
Well, it was such a magical time with the Titans, and again, I guess my students now at Brentwood Academy think fondly of those years past with the Titans, but again, I grew up in Texas. I was an Oiler fan. Just had the Earl Campbell jersey. That was my team. Having to play or getting to play for the Oilers for a year and then moving to the Titans, it was just an amazing experience. And of course, that run that no one expected, the way we built it, the way we maintained it, at least for a couple years, and then just getting the city behind it. And I think even today, the city of Nashville thinks fondly of those ticker tape parades and all those things. Those will be memories we won't forget.
I'm going to throw some names out at you. Mike Munchak, your coach, your teammate, and then coach. Were you ever a teammate with him?
I was not a teammate.
Yeah, but I know you were with Bruce. I'm going to mention that name in a minute.
Okay. Well, Munchak, undoubtedly, there are two offensive line coaches that helped me. One was Mike Sherman at Texas A&M, and the other one was Mike Munchak. Just the skill, the patience, the development. He helped me play as long as I did. There's really no reason I should have played as long as I did. It wasn't because I was some super athlete. He was a man that absolutely fed into me, helped me grow, and gave me the confidence to play year after year. So tremendously, I think very highly of Mike Munchak.
Bruce Matthews.
Another mentor.
A piece of work.
I knew him obviously from Jason Matthews, the fan of the Oilers.
Right.
Got to come play with him. Tremendous football player, but a better man. Just a great father, great mentor, man of God, just a great mentor for young people to learn from. I was the old guy under Bruce, and I was 10 years younger than Bruce. But the young guys he mentored under me, amazing. You
luckily weren't in the draft class with the Titans that you got your head shaved.
That's right. I was not. I never had my head is going bald now, but I never had to shave it then. So.
Brad Hopkins, because you were a tackle.
Yep.
And that left tackle was solid, the best in the league for a decade.
Brad Hopkins is an unbelievable athlete. People do not realize that he's skinny and pretty now.
And he is skinny and pretty.
He'll tell you that even if you don't see it.
Well, see, Brad and I did a radio show together for 3 years, with Joe Dubin.
Yeah. Did he do it with his shirt on or off?
Oh, he was still a little chunky.
Okay,
then.
Well, people don't understand. When he was chunky, he was still a tremendous athlete.
Yeah.
And just to see some of the things he could do, I would just look in awe going, I can't do that. There's not many people who can do that. He
topped out at, I think, 345.
I think you're being generous.
I
don't know.
What'd you top out at?
I was just over 300, so I wasn't near that. But mine was just I was having back issues, so I couldn't get too much heavier than that. So.
Yeah, and certainly the Steve McNair.
Just here's the other thing I would like to compare. I played with two really high competitive quarterbacks when I was with the Colts. Jim Harbaugh was our quarterback, and I used to say he was the toughest quarterback we had. We knew as an offensive line he would put his head down and go get the first down for us. He wasn't a prima donna. And then, of course, I met Steve McNair, and he was a running back that was playing quarterback. That being said, he was the most generous quarterback I'd ever been a part of. He was so gracious to his offensive line, so thoughtful for us. His passing was really, really hard for us as offensive linemen because he took care of us so much.
Blocking for Eddie George.
What a tank.
Beast.
What a tank. And, again, people that talk about Derrick Henry now, which is another beast, another tank,
yeah,
they forget they're not old enough to know, but Eddie George was that pre-Derrick Henry. And, I mean, you talk about if we messed up and he got hit in the backfield, he got 2 yards. So as an offensive lineman, what a blessing to play for somebody. And he was another one that was very generous to his offensive lineman too.
And he's 50 years old and
looks like he's 27.
Yeah, looks like he could go out there. Probably could go out there
Yep.
right now. Jason Matthews is our.
You didn't say that about me though.
Well, I'm getting there.
Okay, I was making sure.
Let me tell you the one thing I do like. I'm looking at Pro Football Reference. From 2000, this is the last 6 years of your career, 5 years of your career.
Yep.
2000, you played 16 games. 2001, you played 16 games. 2002, you played 16 games. 2003, you played 15 games. And then 2004, you played 15 games. So 32, 48, plus 30, 78 games in a 5-year stretch.
And probably 3 or 4 surgeries in between those. Yeah. And again, when you're playing with Bruce Matthews and Mike Munchak's your coach, you don't miss many. But all those guys, it wasn't me. It was Scott Sanderson. It was Brad Hopkins. It was John Runyon. It was all those guys that were just – we were beat up, but we loved the Titans. We loved – it was amazing relationships. We all wanted to fight for those guys. And Jeff.
Yeah, well, I'd be remiss. Of course, my Cats business partner, Jeff Fisher, I don't know many beat writers that become business partners with the coach they cover, but – right now you're so restricted. Back then he would come to you and say, look, don't talk about this, don't record this, we're practicing this. But the accessibility that the media had, that fans had, that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, and I think Tennessee, we were blessed to have a Jeff Fisher because Jeff Fisher in a different market, a bigger media market, may have been different than Jeff Fisher. It was perfect for this market. He had those relationships. He had the relationship with our team, and that's I will go to my grave saying that's what made the Titans great. We had some great players, the Eddie and Steves and Bruces, but they developed a lot of those players. Frank Wycheck was a cast-off from other teams.
Yeah, they picked him up in a waiver something with the Redskins.
Yeah. So you think of these people that just came in and they developed a team and they developed a chemistry, and we played hard for each other, and it wasn't because we were getting this national media attention. We were 8-8 and 8-8, and however many years we were 8-8 before that, and then it just clicked. And when it clicked, Nashville was there with us.
The Super Bowl run, though, that year, I mean, that was the last year that there wasn't there's not the 2 week break, the week break, 2 weeks. You had to turn around. You won that championship game in Jacksonville, and then you came home and had to come right back and go to Atlanta, and there was an ice storm, all that stuff.
Yeah, I just think of the the Music City Miracle and the divisional, and then I think of going to Indianapolis, and I'll never forget Eddie George looking up at the screen, about to get fumbled, and he pulled the ball in tight to save that one.
And then he's running down the field,
looking at it,
watching the Jumbotron to see if anybody's behind him.
And then the third of going down and trying to beat Jacksonville for 3 times.
Right.
And Jacksonville was a really good team. This wasn't just a fluke team. They were a really good team. So we had that run, and like you said, we didn't really have time to celebrate it because then we were going to Atlanta, who happens to hit an ice storm against the greatest show on turf. So, it was just quite a run. And then, of course, we come back for the ticker tape. And, again, it was what you guys, the people that are listening probably don't know is when we came back, even after that loss, those airports, the fans that were at the airports, it just galvanized the city. So those are the memories old guys like us take away from it.
Jason Matthews is our guest, 94 third-round draft pick of the Colts. You spent 4 years there. I mean, you your first year, rookie year, 10 games, but then you started, 16 games. Your second year, 15 games. You played 16, games that last year in Indy, 4-year run there. tell me about draft day, because that animal is a lot different now than it was then. How did you find out you were drafted in the third round out of Texas A&M by the Colts?
This is a great story. My wife will get really mad at me.
Well,
telling
she's
the story,
not listening.
But at the time, I was a student at Texas A&M. My wife was a student a year younger than me at Texas A&M. My parents had come up for the draft to my apartment at Texas A&M, and at that time they had the first 2 rounds were on the first day, and the third through seventh or eighth were on the second day. Well, it started at 8 o'clock New York time. This is the second round, or the third round, the second day. 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock in College Station. I am the second pick of the third round. The Colts call. My girlfriend, my future wife, but my girlfriend at the time is there with my parents in my apartment. She picks up the phone, and it says, whoever it is, this is I'm trying to think who it was that called me. I may have been Ted Marchibroda. I don't know who it was. Hey, we're trying to get hold of Jason Matthews. So she actually comes and has to wake me up. I am dead asleep because I thought there's no way I'm getting drafted early in the third round.
Yeah.
And there it is, the second pick of the third round. I get called. They said, hey, congratulations, we drafted you. And it was Bill Tobin. That's who it was.
Yeah.
It was Bill Tobin. And I'm like, yeah, great. I'm a Texas boy. I'm in Texas now. I actually have to pull out a big old Rand McNally map book because I know where Indiana is, but I have no idea where Indianapolis is in Indiana. So I have to open this book and say, oh, it's right in the middle. So we're all figuring out where we're going. And, of course, the next weekend I flew up there for the mini camps. But it was totally unexpected. What a blessing. I never would have thought I would have made an 11-year career out of that.
You played 144 games. And you are only – how many times were you called for holding? No, seriously, this is –
I don't think much, but –
7 times
okay.
in 144 games. You either were really good or got away with it or both.
I think it's the latter. I think it was the latter. We can't ever give out a shout-out to Fred Miller, and he poor guy got a nickname off of that. And I said,
Fred Miller, the drive killer.
Because we're on the other side not getting any calls, so they must be looking at you. So,
yeah. And then he ends up with the Titans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And in 144 games, and by this, in your 7 years with the Titans, you played all those games we just Yep. You only were called – you played in 78 games for the Titans. You only called holding twice.
Holding twice. Let me tell you another great stat about it. I've got a stat sheet at home. This is not one you want to brag about, but when I was with the Colts and Jim Harbaugh was the quarterback, I am credited with 2 defensive tackles as an offensive lineman when I was playing against Jim Harbaugh. He threw 2 interceptions to the right flat, and I ended up making both tackles on him. So there's a game with 2 tackles I've got. So that's a good stat for me.
Yeah, and only in 144 games, only 10 false starts.
Yeah. That's one that's what people don't understand. When it gets loud, you get panicked. And those offensive linemen, the quarterback sees the ball, feels it, the center snaps it, but those poor tackles out there, they are just panicked because these defensive ends are coming off the end. So that's the one I have a lot of sympathy for our linemen. That's hard.
7 years. He was 7 years, right, with the Titans?
7 years
with the Titans, yep. And then 11 years total, 4 with the Colts. Also, they are now the athletic director at Brentwood Academy. Our guest this morning, 101 with Greg Pogue, presented by Freeman Webb, is Jason Matthews. Roy's Meat Service on 94.9 The Fan. It's 101 with Greg Pogue, presented by Freeman Webb, Roy's Meat Service in East Nashville here on 94.9 The Fan. Guest, former Titans, Colts, 11-year offensive lineman in the NFL, now the athletic director. You still admission director?
I'm not admission director.
You still dean community
I
engagement?
I am. I'm community engagement and
that's what you're doing right now.
Yes, sir.
You're engaging the community here. Jason Matthews.
I wish it was that simple, but
yeah, you could come to Roy's every day, right?
I could do this every day.
Bridge City, Texas.
Bridge City, Texas.
Port Arthur, right on the Gulf. There. Right. Tell me about home.
If you go to the map of Texas and Louisiana and go right where they meet and hit the Gulf, that's where I'm from. It's probably 10 minutes from Louisiana, an hour and a half away from Houston, right off I-10. A lot of refineries down there. My dad worked at DuPont down there, and I can remember our high school class. It wasn't everybody was going to college. It was, are you going to college or are you going to the refineries? And it was just a different place. My kids, when we decided to stay up here in Nashville, the schools, Brentwood Academy was a part of that. When I'm telling my kids are Bryce and Bailey, but when I'm telling them, hey, we're staying at Brentwood Academy, it was so they could see that and can see that it's an expectation that you're going to college, and this is what success looks like. And gosh, man, there's so many successful people in this part of the world, so you want them to be around them.
Your wife, Kim? Is she from Bridge City?
She's from Bridge City. She's a class below me. We both went to Texas A&M, so we were able to we dated most of the time, but we didn't date all the time.
Yeah.
That's a great story, but I'm not bringing that up on the air.
Yeah, you've already on the edge on one story, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm not bringing that one up.
All right. Did you, though, sign to Texas A&M, obviously?
Yep.
Did you go to Brigham Young first?
I went to Brigham Young first.
To play defensive. I read somewhere to play defensive end.
Yeah, it's so funny because I was an offensive lineman and I was a defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Most kids don't know that now. We played two ways.
Yeah.
But I was offensive lineman, defensive lineman. BYU, if you think back, I graduated in '89. They'd won the championship, I believe, in '84 or '85.
'84, I believe, yeah.
Their quarterback was a guy named Ty Detmer, who was a Texas, not University of Texas, but a Texas high school student. He went up there on our visit to BYU. I will never forget. I'd never seen snow before. He brought us to an apple orchard covered in snow, put us on snowmobiles, and we went riding around these trees, apples, and these elk, moose, whatever you could, big animals were digging for the apples under the snow, and I thought I was in a totally different place. So part of what people don't understand about that story is Texas A&M was being investigated. This was after SMU got the death penalty, and Texas A&M was being investigated at that time. I went to BYU.
Was LaVell Edwards still the coach?
LaVell Edwards was the coach.
Yeah, wow.
I've actually been coached by LaVell Edwards. When I was at the Senior Bowl for college after A&M, I was coached by Don Shula. He came to do that one, and then R.C. Slocum was my coach at high school, and, of course, I had Jeff Fisher. So I had Ted Marchabroda as well. I had a lot of great coaches.
Tell me about Bryce. Is he a football player, right? Was he at
Absolutely.
Liberty? Is he at Liberty?
Yeah. Bryce was unfortunate for him, but fortunate for me. He played for me. I was coaching at the time. I'll even go back. There's an interesting story about that because when Bryce was going into his freshman year, I was at BA. Munchak took the head coach at the Titans. Bruce was the offensive line coach, and I was talking with Bruce about, do I want to go help him as an offensive line coach? And when you're an old washed-up guy like me, you think, hey, if you're gonna get into the league, you don't have many shots. I had a great conversation with Bruce about should we go do this. I went and talked to the head at Brentwood Academy. It was a guy named Kurt Masters at the time. I said, I'm really thinking about this. And he kind of pushed it back on my plate, said, don't you want to coach your son? Don't you want to be a part of this? And I said, you know what, you're right. Thought and prayer, we're staying here. So I got to coach my son. He was a really good player. He was actually a lot better skilled than I was. He chose between Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Clemson, and Ole Miss, and he went with Coach Freeze at Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. Ole Miss was rolling at the time, and it just so happens when he got there, the Coach Freeze scandal happened, the Laramie Tunsil thing happened, and Ole Miss went through its kind of dry years. And Bryce, to his credit, he stayed there. There was no transfer portal. He stayed there until he graduated. He graduated with an Ole Miss degree. And then he followed Coach Freeze to Liberty for the last 2 years with Malik Willis, and they went on their run for 2 years. So he had a great run, wanted to come back to Nashville. He's got his finance degree. He's worked at a couple different places, but now he's working for Brentwood Builders, and he's doing the operating office operations there, so wow. CFO stuff. So
Bailey, your daughter?
Bailey is she was a COVID child, meaning she didn't get all of her senior stuff at BA. She didn't get to go to prom. She didn't get to go to her senior trip. And after she graduated, she went to Belmont, graduated, and then said she wants to go do hair. So she's now working at a I'm gonna get this right, Main Atelier in Nolensville, and she's doing hair out there. So she's doing great at that.
Yeah, that's a Vanderbilt word there.
Yeah, I don't even know what it means, but I said it right.
Your brother, football coach?
My brother
Jeff?
My brother Jeff is a football coach. He did it for many years, became an athletic director, advised me not to be an athletic director, but I didn't go. I went against him, and now he's actually retired and drawing double retirement from the UIL in Texas, and then he's working for BSN down in Texas. So
Jason Matthews is our guest, 11 years tackle, 7 of those with the Titans, AD at Brentwood Academy. How many hurricanes have you survived in Bridge City in your life?
Many.
I mean,
there's a few
that's like ground zero for hurricanes, right?
It is.
There.
It's like a catcher's mitt for it. It just catches it all the time.
Yeah.
I can remember delaying football games. I can remember being stuck in traffic, driving away, and still not moving in traffic, trying to get away from evacuation. But there's something special about that place. They keep rebuilding. They keep rebuilding. But you go down there today in some of the poorer places, you still see tarps on the houses. But it's a special place. I tell everybody all the time, Tennessee has a rich tradition, but there's something really prideful for people about Texas. It's almost obnoxious. They instill it in you from birth. But yeah, we miss it. So,
most famous person other than you. I'm on Wikipedia right now. They've notable people. There's 6. They list 5.
Okay.
From Bridge City. You're one of them. Matt Bryant, kicker
for the Falcons.
Right. Shane Dronette,
player for the Falcons and the Broncos.
Okay.
We were classmates.
Steve Worster.
He played for Texas and was integral part of the Wishbone under Darryl Royal.
And the most famous?
Who you got?
Huh?
I don't know.
Randall Tex Cobb. Did you know that he's on the list?
I actually thought he was from Port Arthur, but maybe they have him from Texas there.
They list him Bridge City.
Great.
And it's on Wikipedia, so it must be true.
Listen, Bridge City and Port Arthur rub right up to each other, so maybe he did. But, yeah, Randall Tex Cobb, most people know from The Golden Child. No, I'm joking.
Racing Arizona.
Yes.
Or being a tomato can.
That's right, and a pretty good boxer if you look back at it.
He lived here.
Yeah. He did.
Yeah, back in the 90s, there was a place over on 21st. It was like a Perkins or something, and he would set up shop every day in the back there. If anybody wanted to talk to him, interview him, I did. And he would be there, and he would drink coffee for like 5 straight hours. So, yeah, there's you.
Great. Well, I'll take that group.
That's pretty dang random.
I'll take that group.
Yeah. So, Bridge City, Orange County, huh?
Hey, listen, Orange County football is really good football. I mean, and again, they are constantly – Texas has got like 12 rounds of playoffs. But to get in there, it is amazing.
Well, we've got 9.
We do, but privates do not. So I'm always saying, hey, we got a much easier path than going through that Texas hurricane. So
yeah, well, I mean, you look at what Odessa and Permian and they do. I mean, they charter flights to road games.
Yeah,
that's a whole other animal.
They live in a whole different country. So.
We'll take a break, be back and wrap it up. Yep. Jason Matthews is our guest. 11 years NFL, 7 of those with the Titans. Also the athletic director out of Brentwood Academy. This is 101 with Greg Pogue, presented by Freeman & Webb, Roy's Meat Service on 94.9 The Fan. Yes, Jason Matthews, 11 years in the NFL, 7 of those with the Titans, athletic director now out at Brentwood Academy. Jason, all right. My boy Doug over here gave me a cup, but I got some superlatives over here.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The best player rushing it, I guess, you ever played against.
Yeah, I would. It's really hard for me to decipher between Bruce Smith and Reggie White. Both of them kept me up. I can remember being in the hotel room the night before. I didn't have a lot of stress at that point. I was just young, but both of those I was up at 3 a.m. thinking, please don't make me look like a fool tomorrow. So
can you give me some little chip hep here on the left side or right side, whichever side you're? Yeah.
If it was Eddie, I knew we had it. If it wasn't Eddie, I would be panicked. What's going to happen?
Who's your favorite football player of all time?
I would probably put Bruce Matthews in there.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of him. I think he was, he made the Pro Bowl in all 5 positions. He played for 19 years.
What you just said, a Pro Bowl at all 5 offensive line positions.
Yeah, and 19 years. I mean, again, I played 11 years. I was an old man at 34, 35 when I retired. He had retired a couple years before that, but he was playing at 44, 45. It's crazy.
Your favorite restaurant in Nashville?
I love the steakhouses. Whatever there is, steakhouses. I can go to any one of them. Love all of them.
Sperry's.
Yeah, I just because I'm old and we would stay in the hotel, the Lowe's Vanderbilt, we'd go to Ruth Chris all the time.
Yeah, right.
Love
Well,
it.
it's down
Love it.
yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Who your favorite trip you ever took?
Turks and Caicos.
Really?
We were there.
That didn't take long.
No, because we were there during during COVID, and it was the 15 days to stop the spread. We were there, so we extended our vacation, but the island just everybody left, and we were on a beach. I've got pictures of me and my family on the beach by ourselves. It was great. It was like a movie. It was great.
Bucket list trip. Where do you want to go yet?
I want to go. I've been to Europe, but Kim and I have never been to Europe together. I want to go with her to Europe.
Okay.
So
mine's the Masters at Royal St. Andrews. So that's happening next year.
That's easy to go. Tickets are probably selling on eBay right now.
I haven't told my wife yet. So anyway, your favorite actor?
Oh boy, I don't watch a lot of movies, so I don't know. I like all the sports. Remember the Titans. I like the Miracles. I like those. So whoever makes those types of movies, who I like. Hoosiers, old school.
Oh, there you go, Hoosiers. Gene Hackman.
Yes.
Favorite musician?
Gosh. Got to be George Strait. There you go.
There you go.
George Strait.
There you go. That's all I'm going to do with that. Brentwood Academy, we've got about 3 or 4 more minutes. Brentwood Academy Athletic Director Paul Wade, the coach. We know what the expectations are. State runner-up last year, Division II, Class AAA. But the overall Brentwood Academy Athletic Department is now under your umbrella.
Yes, sir.
And it's more than just football.
And we've got some great things. I've got some great coaches. It has zero to do with me. It's great hires. If you do great hires, I'll give you a Coach Flat story. He went to Eagleville and went 0-10. And he came back and he goes, I said, what happened, Coach? You run something different? He goes, I ran the exact same plays I went at Brentwood Academy. It's about the Jimmies and Joes, and it's about the coaches. We got to get coaches, and we have great coaches at Brentwood Academy. So those are great mentors to help with the kids. So fortunate.
5 years from now, what are you thinking? Where are we? Because it's, as we mentioned, collegiately and the high school level, the NIL, the transfer, the one-time, this, that, or whatever, it just seems to be so fluid right now.
I worry about the relationship aspect. Those are the 2 words I've said earlier, the relationship and development. It's hard to develop when you cannot push a kid out of their comfort zone. It's hard to have a relationship when you tell a kid, hey, we're putting you to offensive line this year. I'm a defensive lineman. Well, you're an offensive lineman next year. Well, then I'm transferring, going somewhere else.
Yeah, it's about retention.
It is.
It's crazy, right?
It is. It's really hard for us.
Young people today, how are they in general to deal with? Because they are not like you, they're not like me. 2 generations skip there.
If I invited you to my class, I teach AP Economics at Brentwood Academy too, and I have seniors in my class, and they hear me say their generation, but I really don't think it's their generation. I think it's our generation as parents. We have not let them fall off the bike and cut their knee and skin their knee. We wrap them in bubble wrap so they don't hurt themselves. So when they do come to Brentwood Academy and we say you're not going to start, they're ill-equipped to deal with that. Now, that's not all the parents, and we have some great parents. My point is my advice to parents is let your child fail and don't start any conversation with saying, I'm not that type of parent. Because if you say that, generally speaking, you're that type of parent.
Yeah. Well, you want your kid to succeed, but
you do,
earn it.
They will, if the investment is let them fail so they know how to deal with it when they become fathers or husbands and wives or mothers.
What about you 5-10 years from now?
Well, I'm 55. I do this because I love it. I love mentoring kids. When it gets to the point where I don't love what I do, then I'll think about doing something else. Right now, I love what I do. The athletic director at Brentwood Academy is the best job in the world. I love what I do. I get to go to sporting events. I get to root on our kids. There's a soccer game today at 3. First home playoff soccer game we've hosted in the history of the school today at 3. So I get to go do that. Those are fun things. Tuesday, I'm going to Chattanooga to see our girls softball team, so we'll see what happens.
Mother's Day tomorrow.
Happy Mother's Day to Kim Matthews, the best mom in the world, tied to my mom, Vivian Matthews.
All right. Jason, thanks for this. I enjoyed it, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Jason Matthews has been our guest. Next week, Henry Rothenberg.
Oh, that'd be
News
great.
Channel 5 weather dude. How about that? All right. Hey, Jake, thank you. Everybody have a great day. This is 101 with Greg Pogue right here, 94.9 The Fan.